Welcome everyone, Dr. Thor here, and get ready for Gnosis. Well, let's talk about Rife and Radionics. Now, Rife is a type of electrical frequency technologies. Royal Raymond Rife was the first one to come out with this, as far as I understand. I'm not sure if he really was, but you're still talking about many, many years ago in the 20s or 30s, whenever it exactly was. And I'm going to be doing more lectures on him in general, but basically he got a frequency machine together and then started going after different physical illnesses in the body. No matter what it was, he felt that you could have a counter frequency to go in the body to then take care of that on a physical level. These are not non-physical etheric cosmic energy machines. And people need to understand that. So there's a frequency machine. Zappers, Hewlett Clark was popular in the 80s and 90s using that. They're still out there. And there are frequency machines in general. And there are many types and different ones. Bob Beck had one. There are things, he based a lot of his research on Rife. And to a certain extent, like all of this, it's clouded in mystery of what the frequencies are. But theoretically, you take a frequency, you go in there, and it kills whatever's going on. Now, the basic understanding is Rife did this successfully. And there's a meeting of many doctors to declare the end of disease. Of course, after that, there was a major problem, and the doctors that went there all denied this, etc., etc., so the gossip goes. The legend, I should say. We just don't know. As with all this stuff 100%. But of course it makes sense. And of course he was not a medical doctor or anything else from what I understand. And he pursued these things and was getting great results. He also developed a microscope so that he could see cells acting in a live nature. In general, when you look under a microscope, these cells, or whatever it may be, is dead. So he's able to see these in action, see his frequencies go in there and kill things like cancer. Matter of fact, he was so successful, so the legend goes, that the person killed so many cancer cells that some died because of the fact they couldn't detox fast enough. So, certainly makes sense. Now, this is a frequency, you put it in your body, and if it's the right one, it can have all kinds of effects. But frequencies are not radionic energies. So radionic energies are the essence of all matter. They come from the essence of creation. They're informational energetic fields that create all matter. But they are not physical in any nature whatsoever, and they don't generally affect the physical directly. They affect the etheric fields. The etheric fields kick in natural healing abilities, unlike a doctor who goes and treats something physically, gives you a physical chemical that creates a physical reaction in your body. So there's a big difference. It's apples and oranges. And remember that none of this other stuff is considered legitimate by dumb academia or the medical institution. So they think it's all hogwash and you should never get involved with it. But it makes sense that something has to create the physical. Now, physicists don't believe that. They believe the physical matter is there and then creates everything else. Well, real physics, or subtle energy physics, believes that the energetic fields create all the physical matter. So that's the difference, and of course that's the difference between a frequency machine, which is a Rife machine. Now you put pads on you or hold handles and you're sending physical, measurable Hertzian fields through you. They could be high, they could be low, etc. But people need to understand that it is not a radionic machine. And there are some people out there that are kind of misrepresenting it. And they're saying, well, this is radionic, but they're really selling you what is a Rife machine. And it's apples and oranges, and shows their lack of understanding in that area. They don't seem to understand the Hertzian from the non-Hertzian. Now, radionic energies, as of this time, there is no meter to check it per se. So what you're doing is you have to use subtle energy meters, which is a human person, pendulums, dowsing rods, other things, which are considered to be very user-dependent, which they are. But you have all these millions of miles of nerve endings going through you, and if you can channel that to a pendulum, you're going to be able to pick up extremely subtle and different energies. And of course, that's what you do when you're tuning subtle energy, consciousness, radionic machines. And that's the difference. You're using this etheric energies to assist the natural processes of the human biosystem. but it is not directly going in there like a chemical would. Now, a Rife machine is putting a direct frequency in your body. This is a measurable, meterable, if you want to use that term, energy that can be. It's 8 hertz, it's 7 hertz, it's this hertz. So this is the way things are measured in the electromagnetic spectrum. Now, radionic energies are not in the electromagnetic spectrum. Electromagnetics has a minor component with radionic type energies, which gets down to the fact is you can put someone in a Faraday cage, which stops all electromagnetic interference, and they'll still be affected by the radionic, quote, psychic signals that are sent to them. People have been put in bank vaults and submarines, and they still can communicate on a, quote, psychic level, which is part of the radionic spectrum. You can't send a Hertzian wave there. Because you send a Hertzian wave there to that person in a Faraday cage, it won't get to them because the energy will be ground out. So that's the difference. Now, the point is that there really isn't Hertzian energies for most of your metaphysical happenings within your body. So there isn't a Hertzian frequency for prosperity, for protection, for love, etc. This doesn't exist, but there is one for a more physical component, such as diseases, parasites, etc. So again, a lot of people get results to help them with their, quote, metaphysical problems because they are using a Rife machine. Now, as I said, you have to be careful that you are getting a radionic machine and not some of these other things. Now, some people are putting out these Rife machines and also calling them radionic machines, and then they're putting all sorts of electrical devices through them. They also seem to be using what are other ways of transferring energies instead of using circuit boards and other things. The problem with all this stuff is that actual frequency machines may work through this way, but you're not going to be picking up the radionic signals. Now, some people think things work because it's kind of a sneaky way of getting physical effects that you then equate to the non-physical machines. Because if you're using rates to cleanse your body out, well, you're going to feel better. You're going to notice your body change. You're going to be killing parasites. You're going to notice a change in your bowel and urine. All of this is going to happen by using these machines. So what you're going to say is that, look, I'm getting these effects. Well, you are, because these machines work on the physical directly. So you're getting strong, crude results. Now, as I've discussed in a recent lecture, a lot of these parasites and stuff that you're kicking out are directly related to your metaphysical problems. So this is going to help that as well. But these are not radionic machines. So radionic machines work on the ultimate energies. They're difficult to use. They take skilled operators, and you have to have very quality equipment. The average person cannot get a radionic rate. It takes a lot of practice. And this is really a misnomer because the people who sold these machines in the past gave you a book of numbers, which were rates that you dialed into the machine. You were never meant to get your own rates. So this is a modern development that came out in the early 80s as people started to make machines that people could use for everything. And on top of it, we're unable to give you a book of rates that could be misconstrued as physical rates for treatments. So these are all the things that everybody has to watch. So it has to be watched in the fact that these are apples and oranges. But can you get effects from it? Well, I have and always recommended Rife type machines. I use several of them myself. The small zappers, some of these you can get very cheaply. There are many people making these kind of electrotherapy type units, and they are physical based. Bob Beck type units, and as I've mentioned, Rife type units, and you can buy these online very easily, some for a few hundred, other ones for many thousands. And again, we just don't know if one is better than the other, one is stronger than the other. We just don't know. It's a field you really have to spend a lot of time researching. What is valid, what's not valid, but they're certainly out there. People have been buying zappers because they're inexpensive for 40, 50 years now. Hewlett Clark made her own before she died of cancer, and so forth. So we just don't know with any of this stuff, and we have to keep this in mind. But you got to understand there's the frequency, the Hertzian frequencies that can be measured by a meter, and there are radionic energies, which is a much higher, different one. I recommend you use both, but don't get caught up with people that are selling you a Rife machine telling you it's radionic. It's not. And this is deceptive and a bad way to do it. Now, they're trying to cross into that field to make money from that, from what I could see. This seems to be a problem with one particular company, and I've reviewed their machines, which are kind of odd machines that are put together very cheaply because of the way they're made out of circuit-type boards. Now, this may work well for frequency machines, and the gossip is that, and I haven't tried their machines, is that their frequency machines are pretty good, and they've been very cheap, because a Rife machine can cost you $2,000 to $3,000 easily, and then there's a whole bunch of people in between. I'm not really sure how all that works, and again, it's a study unto itself that we hope to get into in the future, but unfortunately, we just don't have the money to have researchers do that. So these are things to look into. This is all part of the alternative treatment or alternative medical industry is frequencies. Like everything else, I recommend you be a little careful with these things. If you detox too much, it could be a problem. Is what you're using giving you any value? Well, try and see. Some people have been reported back to me. They got excellent results. Well, they killed parasites, and they noticed a change in their bowel. They also reported the fact that they had less cravings for sugar. Well, Bob Beck talked about this and how he used to crave all this stuff until he got rid of the parasites. The parasites want you to eat junk food. Parasites love sugar. Oh, they love them sugars. So the whole idea is that, and so many other of these semi-demonic entities that are in your body who crave things to kill yourself with. Sugars, fats, alcohol, which is a type of sugar, they're all craving this. So it's very important that you understand that, and you understand the two differences there of what you're doing. Real high advanced work, you need radionic stuff. Where the basic physical reality, well, that's what you use Rife machines. Rife machines are all physical, all measurable. Radionics are none physical, none measurable in the common world. So hopefully that's clear with everybody and they know what they're doing, and don't be misled. Radionics is the ultimate path, but you have to have the right technology and you have to have someone that trains you properly and can answer your questions and be there. None of these people do that. And as I said, you've got even companies selling things that are Rife machines as radionic machines, and they even claim to be experts. Well, they're wrong, and it just concerns me that people do these kind of things. That they're either extremely ignorant or they're cons. Until next time.